What's the weirdest sex act you've ever done alone? Using a home TNS machine to zap myself to finishing. Every year I help my dad with Christmas lights. I climb up on the roof and carefully clip all of the lights onto the peaks. I grew up in a conservative house and only recently discovered how nice masturbating can be. Did you know that orgasms can help relieve period cramps? Who knew? Well, I have a particular fondness for the cowgirl position with my BF. But it absolutely destroys my knees. Sitting on my knees on a flat, even if it's soft, surface is difficult for me. So here I am. Sitting on the warm roof. Hanging lights on my house. When my dad walks inside to get something. I'm straddling a roof peak. All alone. The neighborhood is quiet and I can see there's no one outside. I'm at an angle where I can't be seen from the ground anyway. My knees are at the perfect angle to not hurt in this position and suddenly thoughts of the BF enter my head. I just start rocking back and forth on the peak of my roof. When my dad came back out I was in a much better mood. How sir? Edit. My first award? Thanks kind stranger. Started fingering my ass in like high school. But that wasn't enough. Went to Sharpie markers. But not enough. Had the idea to use a banana. But the bottom end had that hard, kinda sharp end on it. So what did I do? I used sandpaper to file it down to be smooth and an easy glide in. Needless to say, I was quite horny in my early teens. So I looked up innovative ways to masturbate. As it seems, if you hollow out a cucumber and microwave it, it does not feel like the inside of a vagina. I was left with the most disgusting vegetable you've ever seen and a memory that lives under the surface of my dignity. Not the act itself, I guess, but the event as a whole. We lived in the sticks. And internet shopping wasn't really a thing back then, not that we had internet anyway. I was a horny but resourceful teenage girl. So I whittled myself a penis-like DLDO out of a piece of firewood. Sanded it. And varnished it. I was around 14-15 at the time. I tested it out once without a condom. And freaked out about the potential toxicity of the varnish. Then used a disposable latex glove because there were no condoms in the house. And the thought of buying them was mortifying. In the end I was too paranoid about it being found. So I tossed it into the fire the next time the fireplace was lit. You were the country girls make do meme OMG. Not me. But a dude that was a few years older than me in high school. This dude, Ted, decided that it was a good idea to a Head and Shoulders shampoo bottle while he was in the shower. His dick ended up getting stuck in the bottle and he had to go to the ER to get it removed. Afterward he was forever known as Head and Shoulders. Shoved a 2x2-inch bath bomb up my ass with plastic wrap still on. I tried to use hand sanitizer as lube once. My grandmother, bless her soul, was the sweetest, most innocent woman you'd ever met. She would stay with us sometimes and help out around the house. One year, for Christmas, she bought me a pack of hankies. Obviously confused, I wanted an explanation. She said to me that I need to use hankies to blow my nose into, instead of all my clothes, because she did the washing and saw all the crusty stains on them. I am sorry grandma. I am really sorry. Your grandma knew exactly what you were doing. Poured shampoo down my urethra, thinking it would generate some sort of pleasure. Narrator. Got so horny that I masturbated with a carrot and went to see my then BF with the carrot still inside me. 20 mins bus ride. Just to be greeted by his mom at the door. Nope, the outer there even before entering his place. Edit. WAU. Thanks guys. Honey. Your GF stopped by. Made a fake vagina with a rubber glove. Empty pasta sauce jar. A bath sponge and a rubber band. This dude is so Italian he had a pasta sauce jar. Dug a penis-size hole in the ground. Filled it with packing grease. Edit. You literally ate the planet. Spent a whole day during school break lazy. In bed. seeing how many times I could ejaculate. The answer for 17-year-old me was 12 times. 44-year-old me has not yet repeated the experiment. But my guess is once. One time I heated up a 5-layer bean burrito from Taco Bell for about 150 seconds before trying to use it as a fleshlight. I went balls deep and caused first-degree burn on my crotch. Yes. Once when I was a young teen I wanted to know what my cum tasted like, but licking it off my hand seemed gross, so I jerked off into a Tostitos scoop and then ate it. It would take me years to realize that cum is both salty but not that salty. Saw a thing in a hentai. Decided to try it out. Gave myself a UT and thrush. If you're gonna a bottle. In general. Don't do what hentais do. You will almost certainly end up with either a UT. I wrote a raunchy message to a girl on my phone but didn't send it. I aimed my erection at the phone and made a deal with my dick that if it could get hard enough to reach the send button, the message would get on its way. I wanted to make my own fleshlight, so I took the tube out of a roll of toilet paper and dunked the TP into warm water. I then put my dick into this warm mass of wet toilet paper. It felt decent but made such a mess. And the post-nut guilt was something else. I used a soft fishing lure as a DLDO and lotion as lube. That customer service rep probably remembers that call every once in a while and cracks up thinking about it. I used a wooden sword as a DLDO when I was a teenager. End guard. In middle school, I once got a postcard from a girl I was super into. I'm pretty sure it was a generic day card. Anyway, I was so excited that I opened the card, cut a hole in the middle and tried to it. Didn't go well. Do not recommend. Do you wanna know how I got these scars? I once took a soup spoon up my bum, the handle, with some Vaseline lube on. After I had to throw out the spoon, I just couldn't look at it again the same way. Imagine her mom making her prized chicken noodle with it SMH. Tied my own legs to the bedposts behind my head, but I tied them too tight, so I had to cut myself out with a mechanical pencil on my nightstand. It took about 20, maybe more like 15 minutes. One time when I was like 11, my PS2 controller glitched out and it just vibrated non-stop. That's all I'll say. Once when I was a teen I masturbated on horseback. And no, before anyone says anything weird, it wasn't anything bestiality related. I was just always forced to go on horse ride camping trips with my parents and had to sleep in the front of the horse trailer on a cot, so no privacy, and was in the middle of the woods, so no bathroom or anything. I was really horny that weekend for some reason, and so after we finished our group trail ride I said I was gonna ride more by myself and rode off into the woods. I rubbed one off up on top of the saddle really quickly, then rode back to camp like nothing ever happened. I'm so glad no one happened to come by. Hormones as a teen are insane. That horse was probably like, WTF you doing up there, and why am I having to stand here like this in the middle of nowhere? Lol. Taking the word horsegeral to a whole other level. Roleplayed SX on a Minecraft server. When I was a kid I had the thought, if I could jerk off but keep the cum in me, would it feel good for longer? So I put scotch tape over my pee hole and went to town. Suffice to say it was very painful and I have a bit of a lasting trauma. Would not recommend. I just imagine the cartoons where someone sticks their finger in the barrel of a gun and the barrel peels back and explodes. At age 8 on vacation in Spain with my family, I made love to a Smarties tube. Got my penis stuck and then my brother busted me. He still call me MR Smarties sometimes. I'm 26. Edit. After some quick Google searching I found out it was not a Smarties tube. It was a mini M&M tube. I guess the whole nickname thing is ruined. BTW, I sent my brother a screenshot of reaching 10k. Got my penis stuck and then my brother busted me. A friend of mine, no, really, loves to tell the story of when he was a young horny teenager. And his mom had left a tuna fish sandwich for him after mowing the lawn. It was sitting on the counter. Fresh. Not cold. and he was inspired by the smell to take it into the bathroom where he literally ate the tuna sandwich. Mortified by what he had done, he flushed it down the toilet and ate a bag of chips. It's his proudest, saddest moment as a kid. Ed myself with a shampoo bottle on FaceTime with my ex. With my dead hands, I have a neurological condition, flailing about uncontrollably. Was horny. Piv. Penis and vacuum. I was going through puberty. Ed a cabbage. Made coleslaw. Either inserting a popsicle into my ass, because I have a fetish for inserting really cold things inside me. And I've done it with ice cubes before. Or squirting shampoo into my ass because I thought maybe it would feel like someone coming inside me, and being a virgin at the time, I wanted to know what it was like. It was nothing like someone coming inside of me. And I would like to add that I do not recommend squirting shampoo anywhere inside of your body. Ever. Did you fart bubbles? Make to the couch cushions. Yeah, no, in between the crevice. Did he just say make? Tried to suck my own dick. Managed to get the head in my mouth. Did not feel like a blowjob. Hurt my back. 2/10 do not recommend. Edit. This is my first ever post or comment to ever get a reward. Classic Reddit that it is about sucking my own dick. Wonderful. Thanks guys. I would love to claim it. But I had a roommate in uni who used to be basically positions himself upside down against a wall. His legs, lower back and mid back all against the wall. His weight bearing down on the back of his neck and shoulder blades. He used to wank in this position and come on his own face. He freely discussed this with me. Asked him why he wanted to come on his own face. And he just shrugged his shoulders. Blew myself. Edit. Somebody reported me to Reddit for self-harm. This is the way. You know these weird intrusive thoughts you sometimes have when near somewhere you could jump from? Well, one time I just put a butter knife up my V. Edit. Yes. Blade first. No, it didn't hurt or cut me. I was lucky my heavily dissociated 14-year-old self snapped back to reality fast enough to remove it carefully. I then scrubbed that thing like my life depended on it. As a horny and desperate youth, I was constantly looking up new ways to rub one out. My biggest up was after I saw the video of how to make a pocket PSSY out of 2 dish sponges, a dish glove, and a cup. I had the cup, but no sponges or rubber glove. What I did have was 2 MR Clean Magic erasers, and some saran wrap. Long story short, saran wrap does not create an effective barrier between skin and caustic chemicals. I had a chemical burn on the head and shaft of my dong for about 2 weeks. Didn't go to the hospital, but I did have to wear the softest pair of shorts I owned for a while. Kids, read the warning label before you put your dick in something. Edit. I guess it turns out that magic erasers do not contain caustic chemicals. This information does nothing to lessen my shame. Edit 2. Obligatory thank you for my first gold. However, whoever gave a wholesome to this may need to speak to a professional. Got a cheap game for my PS4 that made the controller vibrate a lot because my vibrator was broken. Edit. I swear I get so many wholesome awards just because of my username. My dudes. The name is about blue Doc Martens. Wanked it while riding a tandem bike home from a fetish party. Edit to address some questions. Solo. Front. I often ride tandem solo because it's fun. Less likely to be stolen and is quite useful for bringing someone home on. Currently working on rigging a small vibrator to the back seat with controls at the front. Yup. Username checks out. Redditor 9 years. And proud of this being my most upvoted comment. Where the are fetish parties at? I have rather religious and conservative parents. They decided to put off the sex talk, at least the details, until my senior year of high school. So when I started getting erections back in middle school, I had no idea what was going on. Not really understanding them. I thought it was like an ache or some really weird itch. So to scratch it, I'd lie on my front in bed, press my groin against the mattress, and rock back and forth. TL. DR. I humped my mattress until high school. Used my wife's Satisfyer Pro 2 on my dick. Told this story before, but I've masturbated into an empty McFlurry container more than once while I was alone at work. It's one of those things I'll look back on and think, what was I thinking? In my defense, 1. I was 17 or 18. Horny. All the time. 2. MC Flurry containers seem to be ergonomically designed for a quick cleanup. If you're wondering, yes, you have to watch out for the edge of the container. Not very easy to use, but it just looks like a container with a hole, guys. Teenage horniness is just weird. 3. I was essentially a skeleton staff in a 2-person office where the other person was on vacation and I just had to keep the office running, take messages and write emails to prevent the office from seeming dead. I really hope that office didn't have cameras. Oh my god, I was so worried you worked in McDonald's. Was in a class at school. Back then I would get turned on so easily. For some reason there was a photo of a hot girl in bikini in a mural on the wall. To this day I'm specially turned on by girls in swimsuits. I saw it and was instantly turned on. Spent the entire class thinking about it. The class ended. Couldn't hold myself. Decided I had to relieve myself right there. Hid myself below some chairs or something. Everyone left. Teacher left. I stood up. Looked at the pic. Almost exploding. Started jerking off. Was done in seconds. Creamed everything. Strangely, to this day, like 20 years later, I don't remember what happened next. I'll start by saying I'm glad I never got my dick ripped off. I was sorely repressed by religion and it led to weird sex things. Our top-load washing machine had just the right amount of vibration. And I discovered I could run it with the lid open by jamming some pennies into the hinge area. The top of the spindle had a whole cup in the top, where you are supposed to add bleach or fabric softener. Or apparently dick. Wrap my dick in something soft. Lay across the washing machine and put it the bleach hole. Let me tell you, when it hit spin cycle, I didn't last long. Thanks for bringing up these horrifying times in my life. Edit. Thanks for all the awards and making this by far the most upvoted thing I've ever posted anywhere. In the virtual world, this is now my legacy. Damn it. Phone sex. I've only done it once with her so many years ago and I felt so damn awkward the entire time. She was way into it but I couldn't even get a semi. I 100% faked my orgasm. I gave myself a hanging wedgie using the door while having clothespins on my nipples. I rubbed my dick until I came through the underwear. Scrolling through this thread has assured me of my normalcy. I had a goddamn trash bag where I was grounded so much as a child. I found that my Xbox controller was a great use as a vibrator. I'd keep my finger on the trigger button to make it keep vibrating. I was 9 when I first figured this out and it was definitely my favorite toy. Haha. This was the Xbox Crystal BTW. Edit. For everyone wondering how I found this out when I was only 9. My stepdad was a narcissist and he grounded me to my room for 6 months at a time. He was also very abusive, so I stayed in my room a lot anyways. It's just one of the things I figured out. I had the controller on my lap one day and it started vibrating and I was curious as to why it felt nice. So I investigated a bit more. I had hit puberty hard by 9. I was already having periods. I guess it's just one of those things, guys, lol. I'm 25 now, so this was a long time ago. My school adolescence was pretty weird. I would sometimes my pants on purpose sometimes. I would also beat my dick against a table. I also rubbed myself against poles when I was real young and years later I realized it's weird. I started smoking weed occasionally about 15 years ago. I discovered it makes me extremely horny. On a hunch one night, I smoked and then watched really hot PRN. I refused to touch my dick. I got insanely hard and started to feel the sensation of eyeing the girl. My dick got so hard it literally hurt. My stomach tensed up incredibly hard as well. Before long I was breathing in and out super fast, and my hips involuntarily started thrusting. I came the hardest I had ever felt up to that point in my life. I passed out right afterward. I woke up maybe half an hour later and cleaned up the mess. My stomach and groin were sore the next day, like I had worked out. I have done this quite a few times since. Nothing will ever compare to that first time though. Stayed awake afterwards and had a nice conversation with myself. My first boyfriend got caught by his parents for filling a Ziploc with mustard and putting it between his bed mattress and eyeing it. Parents walked in, yellow dick mid-thrust. Every hole is worth trying. Humped a couch. Almost got caught. Was finding something. Used glue as a lube. My balls glued together. Not a fun conversation with my parents. This thread is horrible, I can't stop reading. I decided to a hot pocket fresh out of the microwave. Too hot. Waited for it to cool down. Went again. It fell apart. Finished. Overall, not a good experience. Would not recommend. I one day was bored and alone. My fiance left her butt plug at my house that day. I figured nothing would happen if I tried, so I used it. During puberty, I used to cut cereal bags in half and fill them with lotion. Then I'd place the bag filled with lotion in between my mattresses and then you could control how much pressure you felt by applying downward force on top of the mattress. Saved my arm from getting tired. Just last year I masturbated to completion without touching my dick the entire time. I didn't rub up against anything either. I just humped the air and tucked my hips back so there was the slightest bit of friction between my thighs and the very base of my shaft between thrusts. When I was a kid, I used to fall asleep during church service a lot. To remedy this, my mom would send me back to the lobby with my Bible and have me stay out there for the rest of the service. Eventually, to pass the time, I would go to the bathroom with my Bible in hand and start jerking it to Song of Solomon like I was reading Penthouse. How beautiful are your sandaled feet, princess. The curves of your thighs are like jewelry. The handiwork of a master. Your navel is a rounded bowl. It never lacks mixed wine. Your waist is a mound of wheat surrounded by lilies. 3 your breasts are like two fawns. Twins of a gazelle. Song of Solomon 7. This guy really jacked off to a Bible mayo. When it was raining hard outside I went out by the barn and stuck my finger in a hole in the mud, then made the ground my bitch. As a boy we lived near a large wooded area. When I got horny I'd take off all my clothes and see how far away I can walk from them. The thrill was exciting to me. Being nude outdoors. Fear of being caught. It would always lead to a quick masturbation session, which once the horniest left me, I was left sometimes a 1-2 mile from my clothes, and that walk back was not nearly as thrilling. Christ. I can't compete with this thread. I killed a mosquito sitting on the bathroom wall with my cum splash. Jilled off with an electric toothbrush. That wasn't mine. I've been playing the old B-Day blasting my asshole. Jacked off in Pentecostal church while a service was underway. If your right hand causes you to sin. Before I disclose. By alone you mean not with another living person? Said you like that? I know I'm not the only one who took advantage of the vibrating facial cleanser. You know how those old lightsaber toys were telescopic and you could easily rip the end of the saber part off? Country girls make do. In the summer my family always grew a garden. Cucumbers. Corn. Squash. Carrots. You name it. As a horny teenager in the summer, the choice and supply for organic products was endless. It was my favorite time of year. I'd sneak out to the garden and plow the field, as they say. That all ended when I was caught by my sister once. The walk of shame from the garden was a long one. She still sometimes refers to me as the garden hoe. Not masturbated when the opportunity presented itself. Freak. Not me. But a friend wrapped his peen in a towel, placed it in between the cushions of a sofa and went at it. Yeah, sure.